As someone who's had a near-death experience and experienced uh, things from a spiritual realm perspective, where there are no politics because there's no opposing sides, everything blends harmoniously um, over there. There is perfect, pure harmony. But of course, in this realm, this condensed realm of the spiritual world, we do have politics. I initially, as a young teen and a young adult, had no interest in politics whatsoever. My parents weren't really into politics. They didn't pound it down our throat. Um, they voted a certain way, but they didn't even talk about it. So it was nothing that I was really exposed to. Um, and after I had my near death experience, I certainly wasn't interested in politics. It was like the furthest thing from my mind. But what happened is, as I started living and noticing, things around and this country and how things operated, I kind of started noticing that there was a party that more aligned with the things that I saw on the other side. So, for instance, on the other side, communication, although there may be uh, not opposing, but different points of views, there was no arguing about it. There was acceptance. Because remember, each soul expresses itself in infinite ways. So I started noticing that one party kind of wanted to restrict how a person expressed themselves, while the other party was like, hey, feel free. You are who you are. Express yourself in the best manner that you feel. Then another thing I noticed was that there was one party that was very focused on war and guns. And while that's a part of life here, um, guns, of course, don't exist over there. Um, and not only that, war certainly doesn't exist in the realm of pure harmony. So that was another thing that I started noticing. One was that focus on that. And then, of course, there was the whole abortion thing. Um, so, in the spiritual world, um, we decide as a spirit um, that, we want to have a certain incarnation. And we choose the vehicle, the vessel that we want to incarnate to, which is eventually will be the fetus. Um, and we choose the parents and the siblings we'll have. And, we work all this out over there. But we choose all that. And occasionally, if things don't go quite as planned, we will withdraw um, or hold on a particular vessel, human body. Or, you know, uh, the person on that's having the human existence may make a choice to not have a baby and have an abortion. And there's absolutely no stigma attached to that on the other side. That spirit will just find either another vessel, vehicle, fetus to incarnate into, or it will wait until that particular um, mother is ready to have a child. Abortion is not the huggaboo topic that it is here over there. It's just a non factor. And so I noticed that one party was making more of an issue of the whole abortion thing than It should be. So, um, while the other party was like, hey, there's freedom of choice. Um, because it is choice. And that's another thing. Um, choice. There's only free will on the soul level. Here, our spiritual forms here do not have particularly what you would call free will, okay? Because we are set up, we go by certain parameters our spirit set up before we come here. So free will on this level does not exist. But anyway, so all of that I just mentioned so far, I realized at some point I was a liberal, and the Democratic Party was more in line with what I saw in the spiritual world. And I'm not saying that uh, conservatism is evil or bad or anything like that. I am just telling what I saw was much more as a spirit, um, was more in line with the liberal line of thought here. Okay. Um, and another thing, the control um, that conservatives seem to want to have, that's looked upon not so well on the other side because control, we no one can be controlled. The soul cannot be controlled, diminished. Um, it's you just can't control a soul on the other side. Okay, but here, um, those who are not aware of their inherent rights do try to control others, and then falsely believe that if uh, their way is not um, the only way allowed, they want to control others to go their way. But that's not a spiritual principle. It goes against spiritual law. So anyway, that is sort of my graduation into how I became involved in politics. One side just did not align at all with what I saw on the other side. Um, and now that party, the Republican Conservative Party, is so far away from what I guess they started off to be. It's not even a representative of maybe those ideal principles they had at one point, um, which I'm sure there were a few. Um, but what I saw, like I said, was more in line with a liberal line of thought. But anyway, I explain a lot of what I just spoke about um, and talked about in my books, my near death experience from A to Z, and my following book, The Spiral of Love, which kind of goes more into my near death experience that I had, explaining things much more in depth. Um, but, and I am certainly not telling people what to think or how to act either way. It's just that I am explaining how I arrived at my politics via after having my near death experience and seeing the other side. Um, Everyone has to get to their own understanding of where they're at from here. All right, thank you.